A very warm welcome to all the respected faculty members. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I'll repeat the process for the assessment and the course and the attendance and the feedback for you right now before we start the session. Just waiting for some more members to join in, and I will share all the details once again for everyone's benefit. I hope for some of you the process has been smooth, and if you can share that on the group, that will be also nice. If the process has been smooth for you, if you have understood the instructions, you can type a yes in the chat. So I'll know that at least some of you have had no trouble in joining the Future Skills Prime platform, because we have created email IDs for at least 600 of you. uh, so you don't need to put your name and university in the chat. If you have joined with the registered email ID from Atal, attendance will be taken. Ms. Prachi Pundhir, you have a problem in joining the future skills. So we are getting that sorted. Uh, I think there is some of you, there is an issue wherever you're, so that will be getting sorted. We are working on it. In the meanwhile, please attend the lectures and listen to the trainers. They'll be able to guide you, and I will just repeat the instructions once we have about 100 people joining in, because for the yeah, Miss Prachi Pundir, your login is your email ID and password is also your email ID, and then you can reset it. You can reset your password and go to group. So I'll explain that in a moment. Just let's give it a couple of minutes so some more people can join. So I have been talking to some of you today. I called you up to tell you that in case if you like the platform and if you like the courses, then we would love to extend it to your students as well. And you can get in touch with me on WhatsApp or through email, and we can work out how we can offer all the Future Skills Prime courses to your students as well. We would love to do that, because Future Skills Prime is a Government of India and NASCOM collaboration. It's an online learning platform. And we have courses from all the tech companies like Microsoft, Google, Salesforce, Accenture. And we have courses for beginners to intermediates to advanced. Just waiting for the attendees to reach 100, then I'll start with the instructions. Let me just put it in the group also that people should join. There are almost 666 members in the WhatsApp group, and here there are only 99 people. Okay, the 100 has been reached. So let me just start the instructions. Okay. Many of you are asking me about attendance, whether there will be a link. No. If you join on Zoom, your attendance will be marked automatically. Okay. Okay. I think I'll just share with them. One second. Some people are asking for the link to join. Uh, Good evening, everyone. Okay. Okay. So if you join on Zoom, your attendance will be marked. For the feedback at the end of the sessions on Friday, I'll share the reflective journal with you. You can fill that. That is your feedback form. Uh, you will be all the material that is there in the FTP. It is there on a course in Future Skills Prime. I'll show you that platform right now. And your assessment is also free. There is no fee of 600 rupees for the assessment. We just have to go to your group. Some of you are not able to log in. Please give us some time. We are working on it. I think there is some problem with some of your email IDs. It has to be the same as Atal. So I'm just sharing my screen to show you the Future Skills Prime platform. So you go here, Future Skills Prime platform, futureskillsprime.in. This is the platform on which you need to go. Okay. And some of you, it'll still take some time to set up your email IDs, but others can try. Just log in with the registered email ID, which is your password also. If you can see this groups here, please type yes in the chat so that I know that you can see this. This is your groups where you will find the course and assessment. Okay. So you go to groups. Okay. You go to groups and you just refresh over here. The option is that you refresh here. It will show you all your groups. So your group is this one. Let me know if you can see this group. AICTE Atal Online FTP DAF STEM participants. Please type yes in the chat if you can see this. Virendra Vikramji, you need to go to Future Skills Prime and then log in with your registered email ID. That is your password also. And then you will reach this platform. You will reach this page where you will get all these tabs, analytics, you have to go to groups. So when you go to groups, either you're not Virayaji, you're not able to see groups. You have to, okay, I'll show it again. You have to go here. You can see the cursor. You can see the cursor is here. This is the groups. You need to go here and you'll see this group, Atal Online FDP. And here is your course, Digital Application Fundamentals. And this is your free assessment. This you can take on Saturday. This you can take on Saturday after all the classes have been completed. If you can see the assessment and course, DAF STEM and Digital Application Fundamentals, please type yes in the chat so I know you are clear with what you need to do. Yes, password is your email ID only. Password is your email ID. You can then reset your password if you want. So I hope it's clear now. Assessment is not on Atal. Virendra Vikramji, assessment is on Future Skills Prime. And Ashok Kumar Gupta ji, there is, you have to log into this. I can give you the link of this. Okay, I can paste this in the chat. Sure. So I hope it is clear. I'll stop. For assessment, course completion is better so that you can get the marks, Neha ji. If you complete the course, you'll be able to score 70% and above, because that is important for your Atal certificate. Atal certificate you will get only if you score 70% and above. What's going to happen is that you complete this assessment, all of you, by, I'll give you time till Sunday, which is 1st February. You complete the course, then by Tuesday, which is 3rd February, we'll take out the marks from the back end, put it on Atal. Okay, but then everyone needs to be aware that if it's given till Monday, we'll try, but then others will start saying that our marks are not uploaded. Marks will be uploaded until by Wednesday or by Thursday, and then you can fill in the feedback on Atal platform and download your certificate. So I hope you can give the assessment by Saturday, and Sneha ji, you can give it by then. Yes, you need to enroll in Future Skills Prime. Correct. So I hope I have answered your questions. I'll stop sharing now. I'll just reach out to the trainer. He needs to be Abhishek ji. Lakshmi ji, password is your email ID only. Your registered email ID is your password. Hello, Abhishek ji, please join. Yeah. Under Digital Application Fundamentals group, you have got Artificial Intelligence Framework for Developers. Yes, yes, yes. You can, it's a module, you need to complete that. Who's asking this question? One of you is asking the question. Sheikh Najma Sultana ji. So there are some modules that you need to complete in DAF course. Please complete those modules. Once you complete the modules, it will be easier for you to score the necessary marks in Atal. That's why it's good for you if you complete the course on Future Skills Prime. I am writing it over here also. Future Skills Prime, the website. Course and assessment is on Future Skills Prime. We have to give proctored assessment. Yes, Ranuji, we have to give proctored assessment. Correct. So I hope things are clear. Yes, that's correct, Najma Sultana ji. You can see those videos. Yeah, I just showed that screen, Shelly Gupta ji. I'll repeat it again at 7:30. You'll need to have the camera, madam, because it's a proctored assessment. So you can get it from a system. Your phone would have a camera, or your laptop will have a camera. You'll need the camera for that. Correct. Please figure out your camera so that there is no trouble with that. So as I showed you, I'll share my screen. This is the course that you need to do. One second. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. This is the course that you need to do, Digital Application Fundamentals STEM, and this is the assessment. You can take a screenshot if you want. Please take the screenshot if you want. You can type OK if you want to take a screenshot. This is the name of the group. You can see. Please type in chatbot OK if this is okay for you. This is the group. This is the course. This is the assessment. You can take a screenshot so that it's clear for you. Yes, username. Yes, so Sudha Chandra ji, you need to register on Future Skill Prime. Username is your registered email ID. Generative AI courses I have just given you. You can, that is for your knowledge. But course is digital application fundamental, same as assessment. And you don't need to type your, I mean, your attendance is taken if you just join on Zoom. Yeah. Username Munish ji is your registered email ID. That's your password also. And you need to register in Future Skills Prime. And Sai Bharadwaj ji, you are unable to find the group. Just you
Hello,
have to
hi.
log in and then you'll be able to find the group. I'll stop sharing. I think Abhishek ji has joined.
Hi, Kamna. Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Sorry,
hello.
sorry, guys, for
No,
being late.
no
Uh,
problem. You can come on camera and I'll introduce you. So we have our trainer here for the session. Please focus. I'll suggest that you just focus on the session now. And at 7:35, I will again share the instructions. I'll repeat the instructions. Abhishek ji, you can come on camera now.
just a moment. Let me just put up the slides and all.
Yeah.
I just reached home, so it was
Yeah.
quite a day to reach. So sorry for that. Just give me a minute or two.
You are based where?
I'm in Bangalore,
Yes, 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 yes. We
so
had a very rainy day in Delhi as well.
oh, but Bangalore's traffic is like known to everyone, right? So,
I know, I know.
uh, so, so that got
No, Vidhi
okay.
ji, I'm not asking you to put on your camera. I'm just asking the trainer to put on the camera. You just need to listen, be attentive, and engage. Excuse me.
Okay. Let me know if I'm visible.
Yes, yes. Over to you. Already we are late, so I'll not take much time.
Okay. Hey, hi everyone. Okay, without uh, wasting any time, let's get started. Let me know if my screen is visible. Is it? Okay. Where is it? Okay, I think I'm visible to you guys. My screen is visible. I think I can get the chat. Let me detach the chat. Okay. Hello, hi everyone. Okay. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I think everyone must have been exhausted with their long day, short day, whatever it could be. I'll try to give the next 1 hour and 15-20 minutes. We'll try to make most of your time. At least you should learn one thing from me today. I'll try to make sure at least you should learn one thing and you should remember one thing from this 1 hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever we have. Okay, I'll try to make sure. Okay, let's get started. So cybersecurity, it's a very uh, funny term. Cybersecurity, you must have been hearing nowadays everywhere that something is hacked, other thing is hacked, we should be secured, everything, somewhere fraud has happened, there's a digital arrest, anything. So one word which could envelop all these things with respect to the defense of the our our systems, our gadgets, our data, our well-beings. So if one word can envelop all those things, that is cybersecurity. Let's move on. Let's get going. Okay, let's get it. Okay, so if I say cybersecurity, it is made of two words. cyber plus security. Okay. I guess you must be knowing what security is. You must have been learning or experiencing that across your day-to-day work. It could be physical security, security guard, security at your phone, security at your premises, border security, or fences, or cameras, or even security from pets, security with pets, without pets. Everything comes under security. Hi, if something is related to the technology, to our digital foot, to our digital footprints, our data, our networks, our programs, our systems, then that part of security or of the security is called cybersecurity. So that means the security involves envelops or is all around our systems, digital assets, programs, accesses, changings, making sure all things are proper and secured. Be just assured with all those things, then it is cybersecurity. Okay. Okay. When we talk about cybersecurity, it falls into, or it is actually a combination, or the responsibility of its cybersecurity relies with three different pillars. And the center of that is a people. Okay. Who requires security? People, right? Whether in the form of digital ecosystem, in the form of networks, in the form of real life scenarios, it's people who require security, who vows for security. Why we need it, right? If we need it, why we need it? Okay, we need it because to keep ourselves safe from the threat actors, bad actors of the society, bad actors across the world. Today, our world is shrinking. We are more closer than before, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Nowadays, take an example. Uh, Earlier, when the telephonic system started, people used to call through landline, right? Used to call local within the city. Then used to call STDs. There were STDs. You have to go to STD booths, or you get it that enabled on your system or your phone. You start calling people to who are out of your city or out of your state. So initially, your near and dear ones were just one phone call away within that city who used to stay there, right? After some time, your relatives, whoever people you know, they became closer when you started connecting outside your city. Then it came ISD. Now the people who were across the continent or across the ocean, seas became closer. They were closer just on a phone call, right? In fact, earlier when you had to call like to the different city, different country, you have to connect to a receiver. Then he or she will transfer the call to a different country, right? There was a time gap. Then that got reduced. The call get started getting connected in a minute. Then started. Then it came to few seconds, right? Now, as of now, I'm able to connect you within minutes, within seconds. You can able to connect to anywhere in the world, anywhere, any person in the world, in on the Earth, even outside of the Earth as well. We are able to connect to Moon when the astronauts go there, right? And that is done within seconds, right? So that is the speed of the change of the technology. It is speed with which the technology is changing. In order to secure that, we need to have the cyber security. That is the pace of technology and that is the power of technology. So it has to be secured. If something has too much power, it has too much responsibilities as well, right? And then the process is integral part of any security, right? Why, if you think it like that, any army or any air force, any naval system, any defense uh, body in the world, they are known for their one thing, their discipline, right? What is a discipline? That discipline for them is the real process, right? That they have to stay, they have to walk in certain way, they have to salute in certain way, they have to follow the procedure to fire the arms, to fire the artillery. So everything has a process, right? If that process is compromised with that work, for example, if let's take an example of an Air Force pilot. There's a process to fly a fighter jet, right? If he will mess up with that process, will he be able to fly that fighter jet? No, right? Even if he would be able to fly, it may end up in malfunctioning, right? So a process is an integral part of it. If a process is compromised, security can be compromised, right? Okay, let's move forward. So why we need security? So apart from this, I'll go through them first. We need security for protection of sensitive data. So what is sensitive data? There might be one question. Anyone want to reply? What is sensitive data for you? Anyone? What is sensitive data? Personal information, yes. Passwords, classified informations, okay. Nice. Anyone else? Credentials, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Secure data, nice. Okay. So any data which is uh which is an asset for anyone is sensitive, right? For each and every one of us, our bank, the information of our bank account details, the information of our passwords are asset to us, right? We need to, that's why we need to secure it. For example, our home is an asset, right? We keep we keep maintaining it. Why do we maintain it? I mean, we keep it cleaning. We keep it cleaning all the time. We keep our homes clean. We get that painted regularly. We do here and there patchworks regularly. Why we do that? So that it's not destroyed, right? So when there is an asset, when you term your information as an asset, then this protection will automatically come to in your mind, right? So that's how this term is coined, sensitive data. Any data which is an asset to you is a sensitive thing, and we should be protecting that. Cybersecurity also prevents financial losses, maintains trust and reputations, ensure business continuity, defends evolving threats, defense against evolving threats, protect national security and critical infrastructure, compliance with the laws and regulations, empower users with control over their data, and supports digital transformation. Okay. So, in a nutshell, we need cybersecurity for privacy and human rights, trust and reputation, cost and financial losses, critical infrastructures, regulatory and legal compliances, maintaining business continuity, and to preserve trust, preventing losses, ensure operational stability, and securing both individuals and nations. Okay, just think of something like what is the average cost of data breach? There have been many data breaches across the world. You might have heard. What is the usual cost of data breach? Cost of data breach. So, for example, if any organization has lost data, or the data of an organization, or the data, if there has been a breach at the organization, and the data of their clients, their customers, or whoever it is, or even if their employees, if that is lost or if that is compromised, what is the usual cost of it? That means the cost could be in the terms of fines, legal fees, loss of businesses, anything. Just think about it. Any numbers you can think of. Any answers? Any responses? Anyone?
Guys, please engage and interact. Otherwise, there's no point in having, these sessions. That trainers are taking out their precious time to, make you aware. So please interact. If you don't know, you can say that also. I think,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you can say that. I'll explain that. If you don't know, I'll explain.
Please engage. Otherwise, there's no point.
I know it's it's a tough time for you guys at this particular hour, but at least try to respond. Maybe even a word, a line, or something. Okay. So usually the cost is in millions. In terms of fines, in terms of fees, in terms of business reputational loss, everything is usually in millions of dollars. Okay. Nowadays, you can find everywhere there is a penetration of technology. Even the smart switches, smart plugs, smart sockets, smart speakers, smart watches, everything is connected through internet in one way or other, and they are prone to be attacked. There could be there could be threats, there could be different um, uh, sorry, just a moment. There could be different vulnerabilities which needs to be patched, and in that case, there could be threats. So cyber attacks or cyber security requires at each and every point wherever you have something connected digitally. Okay. Okay. Now talking about the base of cyber security or any type of security. It's basically confined with three different terms. That is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And we call it CIA triad. So security is all about these three different triads. Let me use the laser. Uh, yeah, these three words: confidentiality, integrity, and availability, in one way or other. If either of them is compromised, security is compromised. For example, if your password is compromised, your bank account may be compromised, your phone can be compromised. Right? Non-repetition and authenticity, Pratima, that are the part of it. So when I talk about integrity, then if I make sure the file is integrated, the integrity of the data is met. That means the non-repetition has been met. There's no changes in the data. So that is a part of it. Authenticity is the part of, then again, integrity, whether the data is authentic or not. That is how the integrity is measured. Yeah. So yes, integrity is the accuracy, trustworthiness of the data in the entire life cycle of its users. For example, if the real life example of integrity could be if say something to, let's say, Pratima here only, and if I say that I am giving you 100 rupees, and she go back to Kamna and she said that Abhishek has given me 10 rupees, then there is some integrity mismatch, right? There's a mismatch in the words, in the sentence, right? So that is not accurate. That is not trustworthiness. Something is lost, right? So that integrity is lost in that case. If I say that, Pratima, I'm giving you 100 rupees, right? And I say that don't tell this to anyone else. And if she goes and spread the word across the world, then will the confidentiality is achieved? No, right? So it's not confidential in that case. So again, security is compromised. Third is availability. If I say that I'll give 100 rupees to Pratima, but she didn't came to me to take it. So was she available? No, right? That means availability is breached. So in one way or other, every security operations is tied with these three words: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Other examples or technical examples could be protecting a website from crashing so that customer can buy products. So you see, few years ago, when their sales used to come up on the websites, on the e-commerce site, the sites gets used to get hang, right? So that is the non-availability of the resources at that point of time. That means the availability has been compromised. So that is again a part of security, right? If the password uh, is hacked, then confidentiality is compromised. That's it. Any questions? Anyone? And anything? Just feel free to drop the message if you have any. Thank you. Okay. So there are different domains of security: network security, application security, information security, operational security, disaster recovery and business continuity, cloud security, and all. So when we talk about securing the connectivity between two systems, securing the connectivity between two applications, between two programs, between uh, two servers, through one way or other. It could be firewall, it could be VPNs, it could be you know, intruder detections. That part of thing comes into in network security. So we might have heard about firewall. In your system as well, there is a Windows firewall. In Windows machines, if you are using phone, the phone also has a firewall. If you can search in your settings, you can search for the firewalls. You can search for the firewalls within the browsers as well. Okay. VPNs. Few of you might have been using VPNs, which is usually which is actually a server where you connect and then all your connection goes through that server to the internet. That is virtual private network, right? So all those things comes under network security, where in when you are using VPNs, your IPs, your system is obfuscated or not reachable directly from this. There is a server between you and the actual system where you're trying to connect, or actual site where you're trying to connect. So at any point of time, there is a middleman between you and the actual site, like a middle server which is secured. So in that case, if anyone try to connect to your system, all those things will be blocked at the VPN level itself. Okay. So that's how network security is achieved. Then application security, where the softwares, devices are regularly patched, regularly made free of threats, free of viruses, free of malwares and all. Any application if that is compromised, that can leak multiple data, or that could be harmful for the application user itself. For example, one of the way is SQL injection. I mean, anyone who knows SQL, what SQL means? Okay, SQL is a. Let me explain this first. SQL is a structured query language that usually in the database you might have heard about. There is a system called database where the data are stored, right? So SQL injection is something like where if that is where you can use SQL queries to query queries into the text boxes where you are actually putting in your username and a password, and when that particular query value goes to the backend database, it tries to fetch all the information and get you back. So that is type of attack. A SQL injection is a type of attack. Application attack, right? So through application security, we can prevent that. There are a few other attacks as well, like cross-site scripting, cross-site security, cross-site request forgery, CSRF. All those things are there. Then there is information security, where we try to protect the integrity and privacy of the data, which is stored at particular server or in transit. So, for example, if your file is stored in a hard disk, right? And if someone goes and who got access on the hard that particular hard disk goes and fiddle around your file. For example, your file was your balance sheet or uh, the printout of your passbook, or you have downloaded any photographs or your own photographs only. Someone got access to that hard disk and took your photograph and morphed it. So in that case, is the integrity of that particular file is preserved? No, right? That's compromised. So in this is the domain where we study about. My screen is not visible. Meena is saying that my screen is not visible. Anyone, it is visible. Meena, can you please check? My screen is already visible. I've already shared it. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Virendra, Shalini, Shrikant. Okay, so the domain where we study about the protection of the integrity and privacy of the data when the data is at rest, that is, it is stored, and when it is in transit, that means when the data is in process or in movement within different systems. For example, when I already explained, right? When your photo is morphed, so then that means integrity is not achieved or integrity is compromised, right? When the file is stored on the disk and someone is able to open it, that might be anything, your doctor's appointment or your medicine slips or anything, right? And someone is able to open it and see it. That means your pay slips, even someone is able to open and see it, then that means the privacy is compromised, right? Or you have your Aadhaar card stored, photo of your Aadhaar card stored in your hard disk, right? And someone else is able to access it and then use that data for some other purpose. That means the privacy of is compromised, right? And this is at the storage level, where that is the data at rest, right? The example of in transit could be when you log into a website, okay, you enter your name and phone number, right? You are entering that name and phone number in the web browser. You open the site in the web at your phone or your system. When you entered on your system, the data goes, your phone number and the name goes to the backend server, right, where the site is actually hosted, right? So when that is done, that is when it goes from your system to the server, there is communication, right? There is a channel that is created that is there already, right? When you enter a name, let's Lakshmi, okay, you enter a name Lakshmi Chaudhary, but at server it goes Lakshman Chaudhary and stored as Lakshman Chaudhary. In that case, is the data integrity of the data maintained? No, right? So that is the compromisation of integrity in transit. Compromisation of privacy in transit could be you entered um, your phone number, right? And someone sits in between your system and the server and able to read that phone number. So he just took your phone number and he calls you back with that number. You may be calling, trying to send this information to a hospital or a merchant, anywhere. I'll explain with you. Anywhere or not. So wherever you are sending it, this data, wherever the phone number is going, he just used his way and got your number. Now he will call back to you and say that, let's say if you are trying to buy a sandal from a website Amazon, okay, and he got to know that you got your phone number and got the when you got back the bills and all, he got that bills as well. Now he can call you back and he will say that I'm calling from Amazon. You bought this and this sandal from this particular site, and I want to give you some. You have got some rewards on it, right? You, you might have been getting this particular things in your mind. You might have got this kind of calls as well. You got something like that, and then he will try to trick you, right? So what happened here? You bought a sandal from Amazon that is private to you, right? That transaction is private to you. That might not be known to your neighbors even, right? Not even your family members. It may be possible. Let's say if I order something today, I forgot to tell anyone until it is received. It might not be known, but somehow it got known to some third party who is sitting between you and Amazon, right? Then what is compromised here? Your privacy, right? Your phone number, whatever you have bought, what is the size of, if you're buying a sandal, what is the size of your leg? If you're buying a suit, what is the size of your suit? Something like that, right? Someone else is also knowing that particular information, and over the period of time, if he or she gets all those information, he can get, uh, it would be easier for him to trick you, right? That means the privacy is compromised, or if he or she can sell your data even. That is a compromission of privacy, right? Okay, coming back to one question Vidhi has asked, sir, how to know whether a site is safe or not? Okay, so the easy way to know that is like when you go to a site, you'll see HTTPS, right? That is a very bare minimum thing. There are many other things as well, but when you go to the search bar or browser, you'll find HTTP or HTTPS. For example, I will show you. Let me see if I hosted any site or not. Let me show you. Okay, my server is working. Dashboard fix server. Okay, let me close this show and slideshow. Let's go to any site. Okay, let's open a normal google.com. Google.com. Okay, when you go here, you can see it is HTTPS. Okay, you can see here HTTPS. S stand for secured. There are too many tech involved to make sure it is S. Okay, this particular letter S. There are different things like certificates, like keys. There are too many things involved to make sure this particular S works properly. HTTPS. So any site which is HTTPS, and that is by default HTTPS, you'll see usually that is safe. I won't say that any site which is HTTP, all the sites which are HTTPS are safe, but yes, usually when there's no warning you get from browsers that it is a risky site, usually it's safe. There's another example thing. I have hosted a site here. Okay. There is a dashboard. I hosted it. Okay. I have hosted it on my system, which is localhost. Here you can see even not HTTP by default, but it's nothing mentioned here. HTTP if I'll do HTTPS, sorry, 802 localhost, it will open, right? This is my local site. I haven't hosted anywhere. It's just my on my system, right? This site is not secured. If I'll if someone else try to uh, connect to this site from external system, though this site cannot be accessed externally anyway. But if someone will try to access this, if I can see whatever is going to that from that particular system to my server in that is in transit. For example, if you are able to open this site from at from your home to my server, and if I'll sit in between your browser and my server, I'll be able to see each and everything what's going on the network. Okay, in clear. Okay, that's how this is not secured. Okay. Okay, let's come back to our slides. So there's one more question. Uh, sorry. Okay, one question from Chirag is network security only there for internal threats or any other security also mitigate internal threats? So network security comes up wherever the network is, right? So network could be your internal network within your home. It could be LAN, local area network. The network could be within your city or across the world, that is internet. So anywhere wherever the network is there, it is network security is required. Any other security also mitigate internal threats? Yes, there are different types of security we have to. For example, internal to mitigate internal threats could be like social engineering. That is one threat. Employee compromisation. That is another threat. Uh, for example, you would have heard about spies, right? Many of the Indians might work as a spy for few other nations. So that is internal threat. Any employee who takes got the data from the system and try to sell it, that is again an internal threat, right? So that is a different domain altogether, right? That could be operational security. That could be uh, other part of information security as well. Okay. So that is there. But network security mainly talks about networks, systems, firewalls, connections, intrusions, and all. Okay, hope I'm clear. Okay, so the next one is operational security. Okay, operational security comes up when the decision process of handling the data or handling the system is compromised, then operational security is required, right? So you might have seen few days ago the president of US had leaked his communication or his chat with I forgot his name, sorry, the president of France, right? So that was a leak in the compromisation of the process, a compromisation of the decisions, a compromisation uh, of the details on which those high level officials work. So that was breach of operational security. Okay. There are different ways like compromisation of accesses. So, for example, if you are able to log into a bank account and someone is also able to try to log in with to your and get the details of your bank account by his login, then that is breach in the operations the process. That means authentication is not proper, permission is not proper. That means that is a breach, operation security. Okay. Next is disaster recovery and business continuity. Disaster recovery is a very big domain, which also includes uh, recovery from natural disaster, calamities, or medical disaster. So, for example, there was one disaster. One disaster happened in 2020. Can anyone name it? At that point of time, every organization fallen back to the DR mode or disaster recovery mode. There was one phenomena occurred in 2020. Anyone? Any hint? Any answers? If wrong one would be fine either. Ransomware, but ransomware didn't grounded all the systems, right? All the organizations. There was a very big disaster happened in 2020, which actually compromised or forced everyone to activate their disaster recovery. Yes, Naseeb has mentioned COVID. COVID was that which actually forced everyone to fall back into disaster recovery mode. And why this was done? To make sure to make sure the business is continued. There is a continuity of the business. So usually disaster recovery and business continuity go hand in hand, are the different faces of the same coin, you can say. On one, you are in disaster recovery, you talk about the processes or the uh, actors which will be activated once disaster situations have come up. For example, uh, mm, it's like during COVID, no one was able to go out, so people started working from home, right? So that was doing the people working from home was uh, business continuity, but from where people will work, those particular actions or allowing people to work from home, that particular action is activating a DR, disaster recovery, and disaster work was a COVID, right? Hope I'm able to clear it out. So basically, disaster recovery is the processes, actions, um, parameters, protocol that should be followed in terms at the when disaster appears or when disaster comes up. That is the part of disaster recovery. And in order to make sure business is continued, even if the disaster has occurred, that part comes into business continuity. Both of them ensures at any point of time in the event of disaster, there is no loss or the minimum loss of operations or the data of the system or at any point of time or in any way. Right. Hope that's clear. The last one is cloud security. Yeah, maintaining other servers to keep data safe. Yes, there are different disaster recovery sites, Shrikant. There are tertiary sites as well. There are different types of sites like DR1, disaster recovery 2, or pain operation site, hot sites, cold sites. We also do disaster recovery test, DR test every 6 months or every year to check whether the DR sites are working or not. We also do backups and restores. Maintaining all those backups and restore is the part of disaster recovery. So there is entire domain around it, disaster recovery and business continuity. It's a very vast area, and that is mandate from the compliance perspective as well. Okay. Okay. Cloud security. Securing data, applications, infrastructure. So everyone might have been hearing about this word cloud since last 5, 6 years or so, right? What is cloud? Any answers, any question or any response? What is a cloud? AWS is a cloud, yes. Azure is a cloud, yes. GCP is a cloud, yes. But what is a cloud? That are different flavors of cloud. It's like if I'll say What is a shoe? Will you say that Nike, Adidas, Reebok? No, right? What is a shoe? Remote location on a net. There could be a number of remote location. Data is maintained in data centers for storing data. That is why cloud is used. Okay. Here we area where we can store the info virtually. You are anyway storing information virtually, right? You are storing on other website. You are even if you are uploading photo on Instagram, that you are storing virtually. What is cloud then? Cloud is doing internet. We can get resources. Not able to get that. If you can explain that a bit. Hmm. What is cloud? Okay. So, a very simple example for cloud, right? On demand. Cloud is doing internet. We can get resources on demand. That is okay. So you are saying cloud is doing internet. We can get resources on demand. I mean, that is one positive thing of the cloud. That is outcome of a cloud. We are that is a something we are value add we are getting from the cloud. But what is my question is what is cloud? Cloud platform gives security authentication. That is feature of a cloud. Network of remote servers. That is somewhat near. Yes, Dr. Nagarajan. Yes. Service. Service is cloud is service. Yes, but that doesn't define the cloud, right? No need to handle physical resources. That is actually a feature of the cloud or something positive we are getting from the cloud. Benefit of a cloud. It is something like when I wear shoes, my legs won't get hurt or they won't get dirty, right? So that is benefit of wearing shoes. Data warehouse is actually a different thing. For processing the information, Kiran has said for processing of information, didn't get that. Sorry. Data is available throughout the network wherever we are. Srikanth, okay. Throughout the data is available throughout the net. That is again a feature of the cloud. Pay per use service, that is the model of the cloud. So that is your prepaid phone as well. Whenever you pay, you use it, right? But that is not cellular network. Storage databases, Priyanka, that is one of the offering of a cloud. Dr. Nagarajan, network of remote server hosted on the internet that store, manage, and process data rather than relying on a local server or a personal computer. Yes, wait, that's correct, Dr. Nagarajan. Thank you. Computing service cloud is a distributed collection of server that hosts software and infrastructure. This is proper, I think, copied from Google. Did you Google it? Okay. Server accessed over internet. Okay, every server can be accessed over internet if that is eligible or if that is made available over internet. Large online storage system where large amount of data from different sources. Pratiksha, I think that's a bit on a different path. Remote servers on the internet run applications. Okay, Nihal. Okay, let me explain. So, uh, cloud is actually a service, you can say, which provides you different ways to own, create, manage, develop, delegate, access, or host any other service. Okay, in a digital way. It is done through different ways. It could be storage. Yes, you can store files. You can get the blocks where you can actually host different drives. You can get databases, different types of databases. Databases could be managed by the cloud, or you can host your own database on the cloud. You can get firewalls to secure those databases. You can get uh, uh, access management on those particular systems. You can even host entire servers on the systems, or rather, you can use the different applications which are already hosted on the cloud. Okay, Pratiksha. So, cloud in a nutshell is a service which provides you different ways to host, develop, create, consume, delegate, uh, and delegate, yeah, delegate different other services on the top of it. So there is a wide gamut of application which is hosted, which is running, where you go and do whatever you want, whether you want to create anything, develop anything, use anything of the resources available, through the resources available, and build your business on top of it. For example, if you are storing you must have used Google Drive, right? If you are storing your file in the Google Drive, what Google Drive is actually, that is again a storage cloud, right? You are storing your files. If there are other applications like you're using Instagram, you're using Facebook, those other applications are also hosted on a cloud from where you are actually using that particular software. So that is software as a service. The service is that particular, Facebook is a service, right? You're using that particular software. Facebook is software, right? You're using that service. So that is service as a software. Sorry, software as a service. That is again hosted on a cloud. If you're sending a mail, there's a mail server, Gmail or Hotmail. That is again hosted on a cloud. So cloud is the combination of different types of systems trying to offer different types of services, and those services can be used to either create something, host something, use something, consume something, delegate something, all in terms of digital world. Okay. Yeah. Cloud is that part of it. So cloud is just not the storage. There are different things like storage is one part of it. Just if you can store files, you can store data, you can store photos. That is one part of it. But entire services are hosted on clouds. Your mails are hosted on clouds. In fact, this particular Zoom is hosted on cloud. Okay. So securing that cloud through applications, access controls, permissions, firewalls, internal connectivity, external connectivity, uh, then securing those servers which are hosted there, so we can host our servers on cloud as well. So securing all those infrastructure is a part of cloud security. There are different ways of type of service we get from the cloud, like infrastructure as a service. So we can take a Linux server on the cloud, we can take Windows server system on the cloud, and then we can access whatever we want to do within that server. We can do it. There is a platform as a service where you get a machine already installed with with OS, that is platform like Linux or Windows. In infrastructure, we can take the blocks, the storage as well. We can just take the VM, we can install our own OS there. That is infrastructure as a service. PaaS or platform as a service is like when you get the system along with the OSs. That is one of the example. Software as a service is somewhere where you just use the software which is already hosted on the cloud, that we use Instagram or Facebook or even Amazon, Flipkart, are all hosted in cloud. They also have local servers, but yeah, the on the cloud footprint is there as well. Okay, so let's keep moving. Okay, coming from the different type parts of security, let's get things more interesting, where we have something like multi-factor authentication. You must have heard about this term 2FA, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication. But what is it? Right. So at any point of time, but what is authentication first? Sorry. Authentication is trusting the identity of someone to get the uh, to provide the accesses. Okay. So if I have to log into my bank account, it requires my user ID, password, and then I'll be able to log in the bank account. Probably nowadays OTP as well, right? So that means how the system will get to know that I'm logging in. It will, right? It would need my identity, my username, a secret identity, something I know, that is password, and something I get from the bank, like OTP. Then the bank system will be able to make sure that I'm able to trying to log in, right? That is to make sure that the person who is trying to access the data belongs to him only. That is authentication, or to authenticate someone, to check and let him go to access the resources, to make sure to check and verify. Okay. So when we call about authentication, when we talk about authentication or multi-factor authentication, there are three things comes into play, and it actually sums up with the three particular informations, like something you have, something you know, and something you are. Okay. So for example, when you try to log in, you put in your password, that you know your password, then you are trying to log in. Then bank sends you OTP. That means something you have. So two of the factors are used. So at any point of time, if more than one factor is used, if more than one factor is used in the authentication, then it is called multi-factor authentication. Okay, so something like password plus OTP, or password plus fingerprint or face scan, or just OTP plus face scan. So in either of two, if either of two is used, then it is multi-factor authentication. Okay. Any questions, anyone? No? Okay. Let's have a quiz. If everyone can scan this, there is one question for all of you. Two-factor and multi-factor authentications are more or less similar things. When we use more than one factor, it's two-factor authentication. And multi-factor, you can have more than two, but usually it's two only. If more than one factor is used, then it's multi-factor. There could be like the two factors which are used there. One could be something you know and something you are, or maybe something you have. For example, if you have password, then the other authentication they are providing is fingerprint and or OTP. There are different ways to do that authentication, right? So in that case, it is something you have and something you are. So either two at all of the point of time, two are used, but either two there you if you have got options to use either of two on the multiple of ways, then that is multi-factor. Okay. Usually the two of them is used, but in different ways. For example, let's say if the mandatory is password, other you can use is OTP or fingerprint or face scan. In either of them, then that is you have got multiple options for the second factor, right? Then it becomes multi-factor. Okay, but at any point of time, two-factor is there. All two-factor authentications are multi-factor authentications, but all for multi-factor or vice versa, you can say as well. So at any point of time, two of them is only used. Okay, let's go to this particular quiz quickly. We can spend around 3 minutes on it. If everyone you can scan this, there you'll find one question there, and then we can discuss on that. That's an interesting question. You can just go and answer it. Are you able to scan it? Okay, let me clear that first. All right. Okay. Can you please answer quickly, quickly, quickly? Sorry, we don't have much time. We still have two things to cover, and we have just got 14 minutes. Sorry, 20 odd minutes, I think. I've got two answers, one yes, one no. Okay. Four yes, one no. Four yes, two no. Nice. Five yes, two no. Nice. 5:2. The question is, if I go to bank branch, will self with a self check, is it a multi-factor authentication or not? Okay, I'm getting answers here in the chat as well. Nice. 6-3 on the screen and 3-3-3. Okay, 3:1 on the chat. No. Prachi is confused. She is saying yes as well as no. What answer should I take? I don't know. Oh, link. Thanks, Virendra, for sharing the link. Okay, Prachi's final answer is no. Arijit is yes. Okay, nice. Okay, okay, okay. Got 10-5. Nice. Great, great, great. Super. We have got 349 participants and we have got the answers around 10-5, 12 and 5, 17, and probably 5, 6, or 8 in the chat. Not even 30, not even 10% people. Oh, can scan but page did not. Okay, the question is, Chirag is, I go to bank branch with self check. Is it a multi-factor authentication or not? Okay, 15-7. Okay, done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anima, tomato, carrot. I don't like tomato as well as carrot. It's good in salads, but not here. Sorry. Okay, not MFA. Chirag, Satya, not MFA. Jayanti, done. Thank you. Vignesh, Sridhar, no. Okay, nice, nice. Yes and no. Great, great. Gigi, yes, thank you. Good evening, Madhusmita. Okay, great, great, great. 16:09. I think we already spent 2 minutes. Let's wrap up in 10 more seconds of this question and then I'll explain what it is. Okay. Wait, okay. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Okay. So the question was, if I go to a bank branch with a self check, is it a multi-factor authentication or not? Okay. The scenario is, let's say my account is in XYZ bank. And let's say simple, our beloved bank, SBI, who is at lunchtime. I go at lunchtime. They said, okay, sorry, we are having lunch. Can't do anything. Then I said, okay, I'll wait. I'll have some snacks. I go back with the same check. Okay. I went with the check and the cashier or officer checked or verified that check. He took check from my hand. He read it like with his specs on, with scary eyes. He did something on his system, tuck, 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 and he then again saw his system, saw me. Okay. Then again he saw the system, saw the check. Then he said, okay. He then provided me a coupon, and asked me to go to the cashier. So what happened in this particular procedure, right? What he did, first he checked myself, right? He might have asked my identity proof. That could be one thing. He checked my photo there. He checked me. He verified whether I'm there or not, right? He tried to identify me. And the second one, he checked the signature on my check and the signature which is already registered at the bank are the same or not, right? So are these the two different factors being verified here? And if yes, what are these two factors? When I say me or my face or entire me, that means something you are. Let's go back to this particular site. That means something you are, right? The second one is your signature. That means something you know. Only you know your signature. Or even someone else, if you can do your signature, he cannot be you. Your face won't change. He cannot take your face, right? The twins are different cases, okay? And, but yes, in the usual cases, your signature can be copied, but not your face, right? So there are these are two different verifications. You're something you know, something you are, right? So it's a multi-factor authentication. More than one factor has been verified. It may happen that they will try to check your identity proof, like your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, or anything. I mean, your uh, school ID, college ID, anything, driving license, right? Thumb is another way of authenticating if, but it's not like your thumb impression will be stored in their server or system. They might have Aadhaar authentication. That is one part of it. In that case, there could be more than two authentications points. He's checking your face, yourself itself, your signature, as well as your thumb imprint. So that is redundant. Usually it's two. Okay. Hope I am clear with multi-factor authentication. Hope you like the quiz. If not, again, sorry, you have to like it. I don't have any options. Okay. We have just 25 minutes. No, sorry, 15 minutes. We have to close too many things. Okay. Okay. So few of the threats usually we have are man-in-the-middle attack, social engineering, scarewares, ransomware, adware, spyware, Trojan, SQL injection. We already explained a bit. Denial of service. Um, so one example of denial of service is like one example of denial of service is flooding the system. Again, the same example. It was like earlier we used to see that the system is not able to act properly, like IRCTC even. Few years ago, it was like when you're trying to book a ticket at 10 a.m. in the morning at that car ticket, the system is not able to respond in that point of time, right? And that happens because there are tons of people, millions of people trying to do the same work at the same point of time. That means the server is not able to handle. It's denying the request we are trying to do, right? That is denial of service. Okay. Though that is one part of it, it happened, but actual denial of service is actually propagated or manufactured when you can have millions of bots trying to access the same website, same servers at same point of time. That is manufactured, and that is actually DOS attack, denial of service, or we call it distributed denial of service as well. There are multiple ways to curb it, like we can uh, curb the system or try to verify whether the request is legitimate or not. We can try to rate cut that if you are getting requests from similar server, similar source location, we can curb the bandwidth, specific bandwidth to the response to that particular region or server. That we can do. There are different ways to prevent denial of service as well. Zero-day exploit is something which is any vulnerability that is not known, that is very new to the system or everyone, that is not known, and that actually is that particular vulnerability is actually used to compromise the system, right? That is zero-day exploits. The malwares like social engineering, phishing, Trojan, ransomware, uh, all these terms, spyware, adware, are quite common nowadays. Ransomware, and few of you already know. But social engineering or phishing, we have a very good example, if you can see, is like in our day-to-day life, digital arrest is a social engineering attack, right? When you then cyber frauds, when someone calls you for rewards and or some way or other and try to get your OTP, that is again part of social engineering. That is a way of social engineering. Okay. You can feel free to drop the question if you have any. I have to again move on the next slides. So these are the same thing, common cyber threats. This is a very high level uh, or data which we have got from survey of India from the malware detect for the malware detection across India from different locations. And this I've got data from the data protection site, okay, data protection organization of India, where they have saw that the phishing and or the social engineering attacks are usually 80 to 95% where humans are involved. There are breaches because of with the participation of human, and it accounts to the 60 to 30%, 16 to 30% of all the data breaches that happens. Okay. Trojans accounts to the 43 to 58% of data detected malware. Ransomware involves 40%, 44% of the data breaches. Adware, you get 26% of mobile detection. So nowadays, anywhere you open a site or you open apps, you'll find ads. Those are adwares, right? Those are prohibiting you to actually use the service which is required by you, right? That is an adware. Few adwares could act as a breach. That means they can collect your personal data or collect your personal data and then misuse that. That is again a breach. Right? Worms and viruses, spywares are the different types of threats as well. Worms and viruses are the programs which one can propagate itself. Worms can propagate itself. Virus cannot. So if you have infected virus files, a file that is infected by virus, that cannot be propagated, or that cannot propagate automatically, but worms can. Okay. Spyware are the applications or apps which are used to spy on your systems. For example, if you go to a site and it is bot installed, got installed and a script got downloaded, and that is actually spying what are your activities on your phone or on your system. So those are spywares. Next gen threats could be AI advanced threats, which could be adaptive malware, enhanced social engineering, digital poisoning, fake government apps, and platform frauds, cryptojacking, infrastructure threats, supply chain compromises, extortions, uh, compromisation of your devices, IoT systems. Like you have different uh, connected system at your home, like speakers, switches, smart sockets, smart cameras. So those could be compromised as well. So those comes into IoT system exploitations, devices threats, where you have malwares, biometric data exploitation, like some application is trying read your biometric data and try to exploit that. By the way, when you try to use biometric and you authenticate via biometric from your phone, your biometric data usually don't go to the applications. It's just the feedback, whether it's a valid biometric or not. Okay. So using a biometric actually a good thing. And at any point of time, if you are authenticating using biometric, your fingerprint scan doesn't go to the app. I have got these questions earlier as well. That's why I'm saying that when you use biometrics, your only feedback goes whether it was a successful biometric check or not. Yes or no. That only goes to the app or the backend server. Okay. It's a good way to use your secure your data. Good. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now let's go to user data control. Uh, the control on your data is governed, or usually it's made available or enforced through different regulatory bodies. But what is user data? User data is your data, your name, your phone number, your address, your medical records, your driving license, your Aadhaar card number, your PAN number, all are your data, and you should have control on that. This particular thing is enforced you by the use of enforced by different regulatory bodies, and those bodies are DPDP, that is in India, Digital Privacy Data Protection Act, a law, GDPR, HIPAA. GDPR is from Europe, General Data Protection Regulations. HIPAA is Health and Insurance. I don't remember the full name. Sorry. CCP is California Consumer Protection and Association, something like that. Standards like PCI DSS. So these all governing bodies and standards combinedly helps us to secure our to keep our data secured, right? To make sure the data which the personal data that is collected by websites, by applications, by systems, by businesses are collected, stored, processed, shared, or delegated by the organization in a meaningful way and in a controlled manner. They should only be collected based on your consent. They should only be stored based on your consent. They should only be processed based on your consent. They should only be shared based on your consent. And they must be deleted when you ask for it. That's what this regulatory body ensures, or actually tries to um, enforce. Okay. And how it could be done? It could be done in different ways, like getting the consent, clear consent, informed consent. You can withdraw the consent, providing the notices, providing the purposes, detailed purpose of the data users, retention period, how till when the data will be stored with them, will be used by them, user rights on your data, access to your data, get that correct data, get the data erased, nomination on the data. So one can nominate usually for the child data. They ask for the nominations, right? Accountability of the data, minimization that only the required data should be used. For example, if you go for a loan, they should not ask your height, right? But if you go for health insurance, they should not ask for your the number of your vehicle number, registration number, right? Or your salary slip, right? So they should only collect the data which is required for the purpose. Okay. Safeguarding this data, there are different ways to do it, like encryption, securing the storage, monitoring the and audit, classification of the data, incident responses on the data, backup and recovery of the data, access controls in terms of least privilege, role-based access controls, making the classification like public, internal, confidential, like classify the files, right? That some data could be accessible to the public. Your name could be accessible to the public, but not your salary slip or your SMS, which the credit informations are there, right? Few things could be confidential, that is only should be known to you. Something could be highly sensitive, right? So those classifications are one way to safeguard the data. It helps us you to make sure or to adjust what data is of what particular level, whether it could be shared or not. Okay. Security operations, I'll show you. That is a different file. Okay. That all security operations uh, has information. I'll show you anyway. Let me. So cybersecurity adaptation, how you can adapt it. There are different, very few things, very high level things like the easiest way is like lock down your system, lock down your identity, use multi-factor authentication, adopt zero trust mindset, don't trust anyone, digitally at least. Patch everything, practice data resiliency, backups, secure your connections, don't use or avoid using any public Wi-Fi connections without protections. I mean, usually on Wi-Fi at the airports, you will find very few free open websites or open Wi-Fi, right? It may happen that they can compromise your data, whatever data you're passing through those servers that could be read. So don't avoid using public Wi-Fi, especially for transactions. If you have to just browse it, it's okay, but avoid using that for actual transactions. Sure, open Wi-Fi. Defend your endpoints in any way possible. Defend your data, defend your message, defend your phone from in the digital way, defend your phone or your systems in digital way or physical way as well. Kamna, I'll just take 2 minutes. I think if I'm already 7:33, I'll just 2 more minutes.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Take your time.
Hmm. Okay.
You take your
Okay.
time.
Sure.
Yeah, no worries. Another 2 minutes, and then I'll take 2 minutes for just running them through the instructions again. Hi
Okay.
Aditya, just wait for 5 minutes. We will be putting you on then.
Okay. So this is the security operations I was talking about in one of the slides. Okay. Let me open it. Like, what are the security operations? One could it could be small to you. I'll share this mind map as well. Just for the sake of time, security operations are different, like digital investigations, which includes activities like preserving evidences, rules for the evidence, like evidence should be authentic, complete, convincing, admissible. Logging and monitoring is the part of security operations where you monitor the intrusion, monitor the system, monitor the services, incident response, where you can where do incident declarations, containment of the incidents, learning from the incidents. You write those learnings, future course of preventions, key operational processes like patch management, change management, problem management, then disaster recovery process, like how you can respond to the disasters, activating the team, communicating, a- assessment of the disaster reconstitution, then operational recovery, like mirror site, redundant site, worm site. You can have different site of your entire systems. Then BCDR, business continuity, where you have full interruptions of the business, or partial interruptions in terms of continuity, simulation test, parallel test of the business continuity, review of the business continuity, tabletop exercises. Then physical controls, physical security like fences, walls, bollards, doors, windows, all those are a part of, these are the part of physical security. And the personal safety like travel, incursions, privacy, these all comes in the personal parts of personal safety, and everything falls into security operations. I'll share this one so that you can go through it. If you have any question, you can drop me any message at any point of time. Okay. So with this, I think we are end of the session. Thank you. I'll just stop sharing. If you have any questions,
You.
please drop my message.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for that session. And if anyone has any questions, right. So I'll just say thank you. And before I introduce the next trainer, I think there is some question. There is one question from Chirag Kumar. If student enter in university, is it MFA or not?
So you're just entering there. Is there any authentication happening? If someone is checking that or not? So probably at the gate, someone will check your ID card, right? And he will try to something you have your ID card, and something you are, that you are itself, right? You itself is there, right? Live there. So that is the multi-factor. They're checking your ID card, that is first, which has the stamp of the university when you are entering, and you itself is there or not, then yes, that is multi-factor. Any reference textbook, please, Indian author? Mm, there is very good book that is written by Sean Harris. That is actually for CISSP. I think I have a soft copy, but that is not Indian author. But that good book is really good. You'll enjoy reading that. It's very plain English. You'll love it. Okay. So Sean Harris CISSP is a really good book. You can read it. Okay.
So much. I think we are running out of time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you.
And everyone, just I'll repeat quickly the instructions. Some of you have asked about attendance and feedback. Attendance is taken on Zoom. Feedback I'll share on Friday on this WhatsApp group. You can fill it, and then once your results come out, you can fill it on Atal. Uh, Second, no, please don't log in with your Google account. We are not entertaining the Google accounts. Then it will be a paid assessment. If you have You have to register through your email ID, which is registered on Atal. For you, specially for Atal AICT, we have given assessment free of cost. You have to go to your group, and there the assessment is free. And I'll share the steps on the WhatsApp group to join Future Skills Prime. Some of you, the your email ID is not yet created. I know we are working on it. By tomorrow, it will definitely be created. You have to go on the learner mode because you are a learner, not a publisher. Yes, I'll share the steps in a PPT on the WhatsApp group. So please check it there. And now, without wasting much time, I'll just invite Aditya to take over. Yeah. Hi, Aditya. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. How are you doing?
Aditya, good. How are you doing? Good to see you on a cold winter evening,
Yes, same here.
cold and rainy.
Yeah, cold and ready. Yes.
Aditya is a software lead software architect. He's with Orange Mantra, and his sessions have always been very engaging and full of insights and knowledge. So please engage, interact, learn. I will share the steps for Future Skills Prime on the WhatsApp group. And for now, please, for the next 1.5 hours, just focus on this on the class. Thank you so much. Over to you, Aditya.
Thank you. All right. Thanks. Fabulous. So we have a good number of people here today, 340 plus. So hoping that we'll get some good questions as well. I try to keep my sessions as interactive as possible and also interesting as possible, not to mention engaging. So what I'll be talking about today, I'm going to be talking about cloud computing, security, and edge devices. Now, these three on their own are, very detailed and very nuanced subjects with their lots and lots of details under the hood. However, we'll be taking a bird's eye view, but also a zoomed in view to these particular topics. So what we've got cloud computing, security, and edge devices. Now, I'll start with cloud computing because that in many ways forms the baseline of all technology and digital software development today. The amount of internet and the amount of usage of digital media and everything that we are doing today would not be possible if there was no cloud computing, because 10-20 years ago there used to be to have a website even live, you needed to have some server rooms, you needed to have cooling in those servers, uninterrupted power supply, and so many other details. But now with cloud computing, you leave all of that headache to the cloud provider, like your Google, AWS, Azure, and you just focus on the application development and the core topics that you really want to build upon. So, what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is essentially the on-demand delivery of IT resources, essentially compute, which means virtual machines, servers, and so on, storage in the cloud, even your Google Drive, that's also a cloud computing technology and service. And then you have databases where you manage your data so that you can query it and fetch it as per the requirements. Now, some of the main differences and what's happened in the past 7, 8, 10 years, I would say that it's been about 10 years since cloud computing has been has really taken off. It kind of started in the mid 2000s. AWS is one of the pioneers of cloud computing. They really transformed the industry, Amazon Web Services, with their cloud offerings. And then over the next 5-6 years, we had Google Cloud that launched in the early 2010s, and then we had Azure that also launched around the early 2010s. These three players became the major providers of cloud. Now, having said that, the main differences between cloud and your traditional server rooms and server racks and managing all that infrastructure yourself is, one is scalability. If you need more resources, you need more servers, you need more databases, you can just go on the cloud and you can just buy or rent more of those. Cost efficiency, since the cloud provider manages all of the actual hardware and infrastructure, you don't have to your costs are significantly lower. And agility. Let's say you need extra servers, but you need it only for a week. For example, you're running some marketing campaigns and you need some additional servers just for that 1 week. So you have agility. You don't need to buy all those servers. You can just rent it for a week, use it, and then you're done with it. Just stop the service. So cloud computing has really transformed the world that we live in today. If without cloud computing, we would not have this digital media. We would not be able to have these Zoom calls, these all of these facilities and services that we use today. And sometimes we just take it for granted. We take, it's for granted. Anyone can go on meet.google.com, set up a virtual meeting, and it's completely free. They don't even ask you for any payment. They don't even ask you for an email ID in many cases. They say, okay, you can go ahead and create a free meeting, or you can join for free without signing in. So why have they been able to do that? Because of the economies of scale. They have so many customers, so many paying customers for their services, that if they have to provide some free services, they can do that, largely because everything is they're providing these cloud computing services. There are three main players in the cloud computing service. So there is Google Cloud, there is AWS, and there is also Azure Cloud. So these are the three big players, and on their own, they are worth hundreds of billions of dollars as businesses on their own. Like, even though Google has its search engine, and AWS, Amazon has its e-commerce, and Microsoft has its OS operating systems and all those things, cloud in itself is a service that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars for these for these companies. And why is it so? Because of customers like you and me. And we'll slowly see the reason why they have been able to be so successful, and we'll compare the costs as well. So I just want to first glance through what their websites are talking about today. Generative AI has been the buzzword everywhere in the past 2 years or so, and it's been all over the place. So generative AI is one of that's why you see it here. And then you see agent on Azure. You see agentic platforms, so they also are promoting their agentic services. AWS, we don't see if we go to their homepage, we might see some new things, but essentially they are providing all of that cutting edge software and technology on their platforms. Now, how do their websites work? I mean, these systems have evolved so much that if you look at some of their solutions, they even segregate their solutions by industry. So they have solutions in particular for retail, consumer packaged goods, financial services. I mean, if you go here on AWS, you'll see as well solutions for advertising and marketing, aerospace and satellite, energy and utilities. So if you take a look at what they offer for these, they are catering their service to particular industries and companies. And why are they able to do that? They're able to do that because the industry has matured so much that they now know what somebody in the retail industry is probably looking for versus what somebody in the aerospace industry is looking for, and versus what somebody in the advertising industry is looking for. So all of them, they have these solutions that they provide, and it's worth taking a look at what the solutions are, because they are kind of like packaged services. But it's also worth looking at products, because the solutions that we look at, they are actually built up of certain products. So coming back to where all of this cloud computing started from and how it came about, if we see where it's come from, the core of cloud computing, the heart of cloud computing is a virtual machine. Essentially, if you see on Google, they call it compute engine. On AWS, they call it EC2, and on Azure, they call it Azure VMs, Azure virtual machines. So all of these cloud services, essentially, they start from compute. Now, what is that compute? This compute is, if we take a look at where it all started from, what virtual machines are. So about 20 years ago, having a server or a website live, or a CRM software that enterprises used, all of this required server rooms. Now, what were there in server rooms? There was just essentially servers which are, they look pretty much, they can look like a desktop computer. That can be a server. Or you can have those racks of servers where you've got, those server racks with each of these servers that are layered on top of them. It allows for easy cooling of these machines, because they're constantly running. They're going to be running 24/7 in many cases, and it's very important to keep them cool, keep the environment with low humidity, keep the environment dry, so that you extend the life of these servers. What happened with virtual machines is these servers that used to sit in these server rooms, with their own IT managers and everyone, taking care of those servers, they moved to the cloud, and they moved to the cloud with what is known as a virtual machine. So now you don't have that physical server. You don't have that singular physical server. What you've got are virtual machines. So virtual machines are just servers, but they are virtual. Now, how did these cloud companies build these virtual machines? What are these virtual machines about? They are at their heart, they are essentially servers that sit at the location, at the Google location or a AWS location. They're all these servers, but what they've done is, inside those servers, they've created these containerized virtual machines that they provide to somebody who's looking for these servers. So your requirement might be that you need a server with just 1 GB of RAM. My requirement might be I need a server with 4 GB of RAM. Some enterprise might require a server with 32 GB of RAM. Now, all of these, if you try to have all of this hardware, in a singular place, you'd need like millions and millions of these configurations. So what these cloud companies did is that they packaged up the hardware. They, in one desktop, for example, if for imaginative purposes, you can imagine that there's one desktop computer, but it's got stacks and stacks of CPUs and RAMs inside. And let's say one desktop computer now holds 100 CPUs and 100 RAMs. And I, who wants to rent just 4 GB of RAM, goes on the portal, rents out 4. An enterprise who wants to rent 32 GB of RAM goes on the portal, rents out 32. You who want to rent out just 1 GB of RAM, you go on the portal, rent out 1 GB of RAM. And it's still that one server, but now we've got 3 people using that server, which is using only one set of cooling systems, electricity, physical space. But now we've got 3 people using it. Now you scale that into millions of people, and suddenly you've got a product, or what you call is cloud computing. So if we take a look at what these compute engines are, so basically they are virtual machines, and they say virtual machines for any workload. So let's say you have a small application that's going to be used by just 50 people, you need just 1 GB of RAM. Or you have a large application that's going to be used by 5 million people, and you need 1,000 GB of RAM, or how much ever, or you need 1,000 servers. So you can really scale that up. They have micro instances with 1 GB or 30 GB of just disk storage space. And we'll take a look shortly at the kind of different configurations that they have. So one of the tools that I really like to use here is the pricing estimator. So this allows us to see all the services, and all of these cloud platforms, they have their estimators. Yeah, pricing calculator. So let's take a look at Google and AWS. Now, let's begin. Let's get started with the estimate. So what do we want to estimate? We want to estimate the cost of a virtual machine, which Google calls a compute engine. AWS will call it something else. It's called EC2. So basically that stands for Elastic Compute 2. And the 2 is basically, it's just a name that they've given it. Like it's the second version. It's like a better way, a name to it. And then you have Azure Virtual Machines, which is on Microsoft. But let's say you wanted to rent out a virtual machine, and you want one instance, and you're going to use, let's say, 730 hours per month, or let's say you're going to use it for 28 days for the month. And so that's like you're using it for the full month. and you have different OSs that you can use, operating systems. So Linux is open source, it's free, there's no charge to it. If you go with the Windows, then there's definitely a pricing, or a Red Hat Enterprise Linux that has its pricing as well. So if you select Windows, your cost goes up. It's currently $67 for the open source Linux one, but if you use Windows, it costs $134. If you go with Enterprise Linux, it costs $100. So pricing depends on the OS that you select. Let's select the free one itself. Now, this is a one instance running for the full month, and you have all of these different machine types that you can rent. So you can choose a general purpose machine, a compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerator, storage. So what are the differences? Compute optimized is a machine. It's like thinking an i9 processor versus an i7 processor. So you can have a processor that's with i9, and of course you'll pay more for it. So let's say you select a compute optimized machine, it costs $153. Now they have different series inside it as well. So this is like saying you have, the i9 T2 Max, 4,000 clock power and everything. So all of these different machines, it's, you can go on the portals and you can see what the different specs of each of these machines are. But if you take a look, they also mention that each machine, how many vCPUs, virtual CPUs it has, and how much RAM it has. So you can pick whichever one you like. So they have this difference over here that they specify. So this one's got 4 virtual CPUs and 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's a compute optimized machine. And then you have, you can select, let's say you have 1 million people using your application every day. You want 60 vCPUs, 240 gigabytes of RAM, and you're going to be paying a lot of money for that. That's going to cost you $2,200 a month. So that's about 2 lakh rupees a month. But let's say you just had a simple basic application, and you wanted, what is the bare minimum for your workload. So, you could go with a general purpose machine. This is well and good for most workloads. You can select a C4D machine. It's consistently high performance. And you can say that, okay, I want just 2 virtual CPUs and 7 gigabytes of RAM. That's going to cost me $67 a month. So about 5,000 rupees a month, which is not bad, because let's say you kept a server in your house and you wanted to maintain it, and not only maintain it, you even then need to keep it cool, keep the air nice and dry. It's going to be running all day. It's going to make some sounds as well, and then you're going to have all of those things. So $67 a month is fantastic for that. Now, if you go on AWS, they have similar pricing as well. You can use their pricing estimator, and let's go with the estimator. And here they ask you to select a location. So you can select the location where the actual physical infrastructure is located. So, US East, Canada, Africa, Asia Pacific. You can select, they have, locations, Asia Pacific, Hyderabad, they have Mumbai, Singapore, Sydney, Taipei. So let's say you pick Mumbai and you said EC2. Here as well, they have your choice. You can go with the Linux, you can go with Windows Server with SQL, Red Hat. And let's say we go with Linux, one instance with, they have instance families as well. The lowest instance family that they have is a T4G Nano with 2 virtual CPUs and 0.5 gigabytes of RAM. And I think this one is going to cost probably very less. Let's say you pick up a reservation of just 1 year, no upfront payment, and you've gone with just 2 virtual CPUs, 0.5 gigabytes of RAM, and let's save and add service. All right. And what you've got is $17 for this 0.5 gigabytes of RAM per month for 12 months. So this is, it's a very bare minimum. But let's say you you made a slight change, and let's say we match what we've got here, which is 7 gigabytes of RAM and 2 virtual CPUs. Let's see how much that'll cost. Let's remove this one. All right. Okay, and let's say you had a dedicated instance, which is what they offered, and you've got constant usage, and you went with 7 gigabytes of RAM. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's going to require a different instance family. Okay. Let's make it a shared instance. And C4, let's say 7.5 gigabytes of RAM because they were offering 7. And you add the service. So you're paying about $81 per month for this. So this is comparative. I mean, here you've got 2 vCPUs and here you've got 4, but the price is relatively, it's similar. So I always like to use these pricing calculators to to get an idea. And of course, now you have things like ChatGPT where you can just write that. Now, of course, this might, so what does it say? It says pick AWS if you want most mature, widely used platforms with lots of tutorials. Pick GCP if you prefer simple pricing, great networking performance, and strong integration with Google services. Or pick Azure if you already use Microsoft tools, because everything integrates with their own ecosystems very well. Now, you can also go through the ease of learning, transparency. Now, these are all relative terms, but I find each of them is equally easy to use. Once you get a hang of one, you become pretty proficient at the second one as well. So it's not that challenging. It's fairly simple if you go through a couple of tutorials, and now you've got all these AIs to guide you. And you'll pick it up maybe in just a few days. So I'd like to ask, how many people here have used cloud services and cloud computing? Before we proceed, I would like to understand about the audience. So I see that there's a question also by Dr. Rajkumar. So please, Dr. Raj, please go ahead. Questions, guys? You can share it in the chat. I would like to have some questions or any points you would like to share before we proceed and talk about some of the next services that are being utilized on the cloud. We've seen compute engine, we've seen virtual machines. So this allows us to gather a base, because a virtual machine is literally the base of all cloud computing that's happening today. It's the heart and soul of cloud computing, and that's where cloud computing really began from the simple, humble virtual machine, which today is not really simple and humble. As you've seen, you can have a virtual machine with hundreds of virtual CPUs and hundreds of gigabytes of RAM. So it's very mature now. And all three platforms, Google, Azure, AWS, are equally mature. So if no questions, then we can proceed. Okay, all right. Let's continue. So we've seen the heart of what virtual machines are, but there is a new kind of computing which has been gaining a lot of popularity in the past 5 to 6 years. So what we've seen is we've seen essentially a virtual machine, which is the conversion of that physical server now going into the cloud, and you don't actually see the server, but it performs all the job description for you. Now there is a new second form of computing that's taking a lot of precedence today, and that is known as serverless computing. So what is serverless computing? Essentially, with virtual machines, what we had is we had these servers that went into the cloud, they became a virtual machine, and you still had that that server essentially, except it was sitting in the cloud. However, let's say you want to host a website, and that's the only thing you want to do with that server. So you don't want to, you're not going to like load Excel into it, or you're not going to load, let's say, a game into it or anything like that. You just wanted that server to host a website. So serverless computing solves that problem, where now they provide you these applications on the cloud where you can host only the thing that you really want to host. Now, what do I mean by that? By that, I mean, if you take a virtual machine, you get an OS with it. Like we saw that you got an OS, like you could select a Windows OS or a Linux OS. You actually got an OS with the with the virtual machine. But when you go serverless, you essentially are just hosting that website on the cloud, and you're not going for any OS or any additional things with that. So what are the benefits? One of the big benefits of this is cost. You will pay a tenth of the price of a full server if you go with a serverless plan. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, let me go back into the pricing estimators, and let me tell you, in Google Cloud, they have serverless computing falls under what they call the Cloud Run platform. So Cloud Run means that you run your applications on the cloud, but you don't maintain any infrastructure, you don't maintain any virtual machines and such. So if we take a look at the pricing of Cloud Run, and on AWS, they have services called Lambda. So let me remove this service, or wait, let me, AWS Lambda. All right. So AWS Lambda lets you run code without provisioning or managing servers. So now, first we remove that physical server completely and we put a virtual machine on the cloud. Now we've removed the virtual machine on the cloud as well, and we've said that just host your application. Don't even worry about the servers anymore. Now let's configure a Lambda, and let's configure a Cloud Run. So we saw that the approximate cost for a virtual machine with basic parameters was about $70 a month. But you'd still pay $70 whether 10 people used the virtual machine, or 100 people used, or 1,000 people used. Your cost is fixed. It's like you've taken a house or a flat for rent, but whether you live there or not, it makes no difference. However, if you see here in Cloud Run, you will pay only for what you use. So let's say you make a public API or a website and you host it, and you can select a location here. So they even let you know which locations have low carbon emissions. So let's say we pick Belgium, and we could even pick Mumbai or any other location for that matter. But let's go with Belgium, and we've got a service here, and let's say we adjust our usage per month. What do we see here? We see $18.91 per month for 10 million requests. 10 million. That's phenomenal, because it's cheaper than that virtual machine. It's still performing the same task, but it's costing you only 30% of your cost. So you can say, let's say if you had just, let's say it's a smaller application. Let's say you have only 1,000 people hitting it per month. Now your cost is 1 cent for the entire month. So serverless computing is orders of magnitude cheaper than than full-fledged hosting a server. Now you can you can even specify, you have advanced options. You can specify, let's say your usage is heavy, so you need more RAM per instance. So let's say 4 GB of RAM, and let's say you use